22?
2.
Okay.
2 and 6 months.
Okay.
Um,
You need a Roth?
yeah,
Kids too?
Yeah.
Nothing you need? What else would you guys just put on the needs list? What?
That was 2016 Roth.
Roth and potentially education savings accounts, you know, since the bank on money earlier.
Okay. What do you want on the asset side? So you're not, I mean, this is all income is moving over here, but this money, where do you want, like if you could design your portfolio, which all of you need to start doing, where would you want to put it? Should I put it in real estate, gas and oil, greenhouse, flip?
Real estate would be one, just because I have some knowledge around that with what I do.
Okay.
Flip, for sure. I'm open to all of it, but at this point, crypto
You gotta
confuses
put
the
money
hell out of
too,
me.
Right?
Right.
So just overall, I'm gonna say increase your wealth cycle.
Yeah.
Right? Which, and the way you do that, just so you're all seeing, is this, right? So if I put a overlay of different color on here, right? This, as it grows, is put into here, right? You just gotta keep putting the money away. And Ed, when you, talk a little more about, like, this kind of money, qualified money, is your most protected money, right? So some of you have done a great job given your profiles, some of you haven't really begun those. So talk a little bit about why that's so critical. I mean, this has got to be reviewed, looked at, and then enhanced.
Yeah, so, you know, the transition that you want to make, like you said, 20,000 in passive income, right? So if that's coming from a Roth 401k and you're distributing 20,000, then you get to spend all 20,000. If you're doing that from your simple, then probably 5,000 of that, maybe more, is going to taxes. So what you've got now, what that's going to do is put a lot of pressure on your investment strategy, because you've got to boost your returns or take more time to generate the 20,000. So by tweaking the strategies in the account, which is what I was talking about last night, we can actually get you there faster. So that, but by the way,
By changing the quality of that account.
And just so you know, right, and so here's what I can tell you. A simple is cheaper than a 401k, we offer both. But would you rather save a few $100 a year, or would you rather get your $20,000 a year in income? That's really the question.
Definitely the income. But this felt safer without hiring somebody who knew what they were doing when I don't know what I'm doing.
Totally get it.
But there's also part of your time, like I put it, increase your qualified plan investment, and then consider this, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say consider, just do it.
Do it.
So and what happens, it was interesting, I was talking to a client who just signed up, and we got her to do an extension, and then she's like, yeah, well, I gotta meet with my CPA today. I said, why are you meeting with your person? Your person has got you into this mess. So, once this happens, then you start using a new team, right? It's very easy behavioral as you go back to your odds used, right? Or be your own account, right? So some of you, you're not used to using a team, but parking your money with Vanguard and just praying to God something's gonna happen is interesting. It's an easy choice, right? And usually it's easy because you don't learn anything about investing. So, I mean, the biggest part that for you, and this is the book I'm going to say that actually has all the alternative investing education in it. All right, so that one's critical. So start learning it. So as you make money, and here's what I'm going to say about making your money, is as you get really serious about this side, what you want to invest in, right? So on the asset side, right, you said real estate, I flip. Let's say eventually you buy into a greenhouse, right? Might go in several markets, Justin's in several markets. So say you go to Missouri, you go to Ohio, where else? Kansas. Right, now you have some diversity. So the other thing a lot of you do in real estate is you invest in the same market with the same person. Versus same person, different markets, a little different strategy. So here's what we see is you get really, really excited and attached to saying, I want that portfolio. Guess what's going to happen over here? You're going to demand this damn thing makes money because you want to go shopping, right? See, and a lot of you, if you don't have a bigger goal and a big vision of what is this, this just becomes it gets by. And even if this becomes $1 million, $2 million company, you'll keep spending it, right? This pattern of make it, spend it is your current pattern. versus make it and then demand that money gets put away for you. And it's a harder pattern. Obviously, we coach on that heavily because it's a harder pattern to break, especially those of you who've been doing it for year after year after year. Right? How many of you know you have a financial pattern you've been doing year after year after year and you keep doing the same thing? I mean, you all do. You may be unconscious of it. Right? And then for this, I would just say, I would look at all of it. I mean, if you think you're marketing the heck out of it, I would go a different direction and I would look at products. I think I told you that like when we met, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would look at the way you, right? Because you could be completely virtual in some of your offers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'll look at your product and services suite and see what else you could do for more increased revenue. What else would you guys do? Justin, just kind of go down the line. Anything you'd add?
Just focus on generating more income. I mean, ultimately, number one, 911, I think, is reducing expenses, getting that income higher.
Well, and then because when you reduce, like this is an interesting thing to look at because you could put more here. Right? What else?
That's number one.
Make money. I mean, getting that business from 650 to $1 million, I mean, that's urgent number one. That's your number one priority. All those others, and then right behind that is getting the Roth set up specifically for your kids.
Well, because if you increase it to $1 million and continue your spending here, you've just done a very different dynamic to then move it over here. And then max out, when you meet with Edward and his team, I would max out all your qualified planning
Yep.
on an annual basis and not miss that.
Definitely work with Edwin and Randy on finding out what the Vanguard actually is, what you're making, because ultimately if you're making 5% a year and only paying 2%, you know, if you could make 12% and pay 5%, you're making more money the other way. Who cares what you're paying? Focus
Right.
more on what you're making if you want that to grow.
I have a question. I mean, I see the gap between, okay, she made 650, but technically that's what the company made, and yet she only made, and she was down. Don't you want to kind of make it more income?
That's what we're saying.
Versus other
That's
expenses?
what we're saying.
exactly what we're saying.
Increase it to $1 million.
Increase that to $1
Keep the
million.
expenses. That's exactly what.
Okay, I guess I was thinking, I understand that bump it to $1 million, but how would you get the gap between that expense and that income? Or do you
You
want it
keep the
real
expense
close?
where it is, and you just raise the revenue.
Well, I get that, but why not continue to lower the expenses as well? Or is that not a good?
We have to look at, that has to be
Yeah.
reviewed.
Increasing the revenue that much, it's going to be tough to decrease the expenses. I mean,
Okay,
if
okay.
we can leave the expenses the same with different marketing strategies or products or the way we sell and
And
new
how are-
products,
And bigger
Okay.
margin, less cost of
That's
goods.
what I was trying to figure out.
we want
Yeah.
to increase margin, not necessarily decrease expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, because actually a really large portion of that 620 is the cost of
It's
goods.
cost, it's cost,
So-
yeah. Okay. So then, I mean, the other thing I would put on here then is not only looking at your product suite, is looking at your prices. Look at your pricing and the margins. Right?
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Anything else? All good?
Good.
All right. Give the team a hand. You stay right here. All right. So back to your sequence. What did you write down? Let's see if it's validated.
I said cash machine, debt management.
No.
No.
That management's at the end.
I get it, but
Right?
that's what I said.
like- Okay, got it? So cash machine's one.
Wealth accounts.
Yes, right? So, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna put 1A and 1B.
Right.
Because they go hand in hand.
Right.
Which is increase this and get this moving. So,
Right.
cash machine and assets, right, just part of your wealth account, what else? Eventually, when this
Entities.
goes, yeah, I was gonna say, when this goes to $1 million, you would add another company here with the C, and Scott will go over how and why. See, the C Corp is a completely different year end than the end of the year, 12/31. So it allows you the opportunity for this to have like your database, your marketing, your management company, and it does business and contracts to help run this company. But now you have two different tax year ends, and that changes your entire tax dynamic to like 0. Can't wait to help you fix that part. You didn't file yet, have you? Because we met at the beginning of the year, and then I haven't heard from you, and you need us. Make sense? This is critical.
I already have 2 different tax year ends because my S Corp is March 15th.
That's, but not from a tax filing standpoint. I mean, it still files, because it rolls into your, see, these are
Well, yeah, I have to do my
flow-throughs.
corporate taxes on March 15th. I have to file them on March 15th.
Right, but S corps and LLCs,
But the actual-
flow-throughs.
Yeah.
So they affect you, where
Yeah.
C corp has nothing to do with you. It's
Okay.
completely an independent tax entity that has no flow-through to you,
Gotcha.
right?
Yep.
So on paper, it is March 31st, but from a tax cycle, it all flows through to yours at the.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense?
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
All right, so sequence good.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna work on this. And I know the team talked to you about the big table.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have questions about it? We're gonna show you all a video later, but just in conversation. Because based on the fact that you have some assets,
Mm-hmm.
right, if you didn't have assets, then we would put you just into an income program where you'd just be working on your income solely,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which I would say the big table, because it's a one-time lifetime, it's 27.5, you pay in full is 25,000. But I would put this is called our 100K challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you're already doing over 100,000, right? Mike, are you listening? Mike and Scott, I need you listening. I'm giving a little prescription. Okay? So big table because you have assets, right?
Mhm.
And we need to grow assets. That's going to be critical education and direction as you start making choices. The one you didn't put up here, are you interested? I mean, you said a little bit of all of it, but are you interested in digital currency?
It really is confusing to me. I don't get it right now, so.
So is it all like green to all of you? So again, the way that I would have you thinking about it is think about a credit card that's loaded up with a currency, right? There's a lot of gold. There's a lot of gold credit cards where you can actually have a gold basis. Like I have a gold basis of a card. It's actually gold bars. It's based out of Germany, and I can go get it if I want it. But so think about a card, whether it's Bitcoin, EOS, whatever it is, right? And you're traveling around the world. As long as the other party takes it, it's a digital currency. The difference is there's no merchant fees. There might be like 0.001. It's immediately transacted and it's recorded in blockchain. So it's different than being recorded in banks who don't do it. What's shocking and is going to revolutionize the banking industry is when digital currency becomes the primary currency of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But I think honestly, between all of us, I think the United States is going to be the last one on the damn train. You know, they're just so stuck. I mean, Malta as an entire country, can you imagine? All they use is Bitcoin.
That's amazing.
Like, right? So if Cassandra and I want to do a transaction, I want to buy something from her, we would just exchange like digital through a cold storage wallet and just exchange numbers, passwords, and I mean, it literally, on a click of a button, you just bought something.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it that's why, like, if you don't get the credit card use, you're going to have a hard time when it comes to digital currency. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put learning about it.
Okay.
Because it's where it's going. You all need to learn about it. It needs to be, you don't have to do it right now. But I'm going to put digital instead of crypto, because I think crypto gives it an interesting energy, right? There's that word.
Okay.
But there is going to be digital currency for all of you in the world, and the faster you get there, the faster you win. The other way I want to explain digital currency to all of you is think about, just like I said last night, exchange rates. Like when you go to Europe, if you went to Europe, you'd have to exchange for the pound and the euro, right? You wouldn't have to do any of that. You would just have a card, right? It's going to totally obliterate needing to do exchange rates and foreign currency in the world. There'll be a currency. It's different. Yes.
So if I buy $100,000 of Bitcoin, it stays at $100,000, it never changes?
Oh, God,
Doesn't
no.
increase in value or anything?
Oh,
How does that
no,
work?
girl.
So how does that work?
No, right, like it's where is it right now? Between 4 and 5? About 5 right now. So according to where Dave is, right, it's going to go down a little in the next few months, but it has been as high as $20,000.
Okay.
No, it is
So
a
it's like
very
buying a
tradable,
stock that can go up and down?
yes.
Okay.
It is a currency that goes up, just like any currency though. Like if you go to any, foreign currency exchange, like right now, because I'm married to a Canadian, right? I mean, their exchange rate's 30 points below ours. Australia's almost 40 cents below ours. So it's a big deal. So when I go teach, I told you guys last night, we're going to Mexico to teach a bunch of Australians. When we offer, call it a $12,000 program, it costs them in Australian dollars $17,000 because the value of their dollar is so low. Yes, so all coins go up and down and are very tradable and very transactable.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I will put this on here. So what I would do though, so Mike, is I would do table with 100K focus. Even though you've made 100,000, we need to bump it. There's a lot of skills inside of our 100K program, which is around marketing, selling, pricing, margins, that are gonna get this up. All right, what else would you do, Randy?
I'd move her Vanguard into flip right away.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
well,
And then-
I was
and then I would-
self-directed.
And then I would get the Roth, yeah, if it's not self-directed, it needs to be
It's
self-directed.
not self-directed, is
It
it?
needs to be
Or-
self-directed, and then I would
Vanguard,
get, and then getting the Roth set up, you know.
And fund, right.
And funded, quickly.
And this year, your new number, how old are you?
50.
Yeah, so you can do 7,000, I think, this year, is that the new number?
7.
7, yeah.
It's
Okay.
kind of self-directed. I mean, I have total control over
No,
whatever I want
no,
to do with it, but.
No, self-directed, the way we talk about self-directed, are, you can put them into these alternatives.
Yeah, that's
Self-directed
right.
Vanguard is only Vanguard funds.
Yes.
So, yes, you can direct it and tell your broker to direct it, but when we talk self-directed, we're talking, you can go buy real estate, you can buy a cow,
Right,
you can buy a
okay.
horse. You can buy anything with your self-directed, right?
Yep.
You can do loans with each other, you can do a lot of different stuff, especially if it goes to a checkbook level, totally different story. So Edwin's gonna talk about that this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay, so any other question about the big table? You're gonna go learn more about it with Mike. So in general, the big table meets around 6 times a year. So you want to meet at least in 2 of those. You don't, not everybody goes to 6 of them. How many of you at least been to 2 so far this year? They're in the table. All right, so Harvey comes down to Canada all the time. So you want to go to at least 2, and then you want to come back out to these, because if you notice those who have the big table tags, right, are always networking in their geographic area and getting business. That's where you and Sherilyn got to get more business from this community. You're doing amazing work.
Don't see you, please.
You get a coach, so you have a one-on-one coach, and then you have groups of masterminds. And we gotta say the mastermind is the glue that holds this group together. So it's 5 or 6 people that we would partner you with, and you're on a regular call in a very structured format. And then you have access to the brains of this whole team.
That's it.
Great.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it's a lifetime, one-time deal. I would bring your son. We'll see
Well,
how.
he doesn't live here.
What?
He doesn't live here.
That's all right.
Okay.
It's international. We're in every continent but
Okay.
Antarctica. Penguins just don't seem to join.
They're a tough sell.
What?
They're a tough sell.
They're a tough sell, yeah. And as far as this stuff,
Mhm.
you would need a little bit of all of this, so you would get this with your membership.
Okay.
Okay? So you want to go talk to Mike?
Yep.
About where you are? And then when you are all set, I'll give you this.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm holding on to your plan. So you have it. All right, give
Perfect
Tanya a
memory.
hand.